You are there, you are seeing things. You can actually see that God has done something, but you still cannot see that God has done something. Oh yeah. You can hear that God has said something, but you still did not hear that God said something. Hey. Are you getting this thing? Because this is where we miss it all the time. Man, they were there. Even the point where we realize that the order of events when Jesus is to be born is an announcement that is made in different places in strategic times. God is never late. God is always on time. So when Jesus is supposed to be born, immediately there's supposed to be a census. Amen. Census is accountability. Amen. So a king is being born, and then there's a king who is already within a certain area of jurisdiction. But a king is being born, and he is supposed to be born where people are being counted. But as Jesus is supposed to be born, there is three important men that see a star. My Bible says they were wise. So the Bible says right there, the men were wise. So it is their wisdom that made them understand the star they saw. They could have not understood what they saw if they had no wisdom. So when they had the wisdom to understand that what they are seeing today is different from what they see all the other days. And then they realize that what they are seeing is leading them to somewhere. And there was an announcement. They are told, the king is born, man. So as they understand that the king is born, a king is announced amongst kings. So Jesus is born. But as he is born, a king is announced amongst kings. If you realize something, he was announced king. Okay, he was prophesied king, announced king, given, conceived king, born king, grew up king, reigned king, died king, buried king, rose king, ascended king, sits upon king. So when he returns, king. So there is nothing else you can take away from him. He is king. So they go to Braherod. Braherod, king. Why? Because a king is announced amongst kings. So they go to Herod and they look for the king who is born. From a king. So Herod does not have an understanding that it doesn't matter what he tries. King is born king. So what he understands is the word king or the term king automatically means threat. Finished. King is threat. You cannot be a king and I am a king. No two days in the same. No, thank you. So if there is, I go look for king and I'm going to make sure that I do whatever needs to be done to keep my space as king. Because when the men went to him, they did not announce to him king on what platform. They just said king. So he understood king. This is where the children of God, at times they get lost. Proverbs 3. That's where we are. Okay. Watch this. Verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Be not wise in thine own eyes. which actually tells us wisdom can be wisdom in your eyes. And wisdom can be wisdom as given by God. So there are things that as a man you can look at and do as a man. So when there is authority that supersedes fleshly authority. So when Jesus is supposed to be born, there is supposed to be an understanding amongst the people where he is going to be born. But because God will always make it obviously important that common knowledge is not common. Pastor, what are you saying? I am simply saying, if you learn to trust in the Lord, you will be able to get to a point whereby when God is about to do things, in Isaiah says, behold, I do a new thing. A person can be sitting next to you and not be able to see what God is doing because they have got eyes and they do not see. They have got ears and they do not hear.